What up, folks? This is episode 6 of the Anonymous Dad podcast. This is a special edition. I'm over here at the Barbershop trying to get myself looking right with my barber for over the last, how long has it been, bro? 10 years? It's been a minute. For a minute. But we talk about sex today from my dad's point of view and everything, and we like to have what we call barbershop talk, but this is a different approach here, different scenery, different, everything's different, but at the same time, it's still the same conversation, you know. Everything's opinion based. Y'all can agree to disagree, or you know, go from there. This is I feel like it's a perfect episode for this because my barber got his son with him and everything like that. And I mean, hey, we all didn't get here without sex. We grown, so let's talk about it. First off, how do fathers deal with sex? I don't know, because my child ain't there yet. And I guess I should have asked my dad this question before I started this. Because when you're a father to a little baby girl, it's different when you're dealing with a boy. I got 2 boys, one girl, and everything like that. So when you think about your daughter having sex, you like, man, no. Because especially coming from a dad point of view, you know, it's like, I know how dudes are. I know how guys act. I know how guys think. So you do your best to try to protect that baby girl. But at the same time, you know, they have to live their own life. Now with boys, you know, coming from a dad, you be like, man, do your thing, but at the same time, be safe. We all know how fathers are. We all know how we can be. But, you know, we still want to protect them also. You don't want them running in and out of the house with different girls. You don't want them disrespecting women. You know, you don't want your daughter to be disrespected and everything of that nature. So, you know, this is something new and interesting to me, you know, to a lot of young fathers out there and young dads, how to control their child growing up, knowing that they're going to be an adult one day and come into this world and have to deal with the talk. You know what I'm saying? My daughter's at the age now where things start to transition. And it's hard for me. I know it's hard for her because it's something that she's never experienced. Me either. You know? And like I say, it's something that we have to prepare ourselves for the unknown because, and that's hard to do. How do you prepare yourself for the unknown? You don't know what's to come and what's to be expected of your child and their sexual exploitations and stuff like that. You got to think back when you first started having sex. How old were you when you first started sex? I mean, like, you know, when did you start feeling those things and, you know, those emotions, those feelings and stuff like that? How did you deal with that? You know, so raising a child with your mother or father, or, you know, and how can they, you got to think about how would your parents respond? So how are you going to respond to your child when it comes to sex? I've been thinking about that here lately, only because I know it's coming. It's been a lot going on, you know, with personal life, things like that. That's why I haven't been on here, and I apologize to you guys for that. You know, it's to my own nature, but at the same time, I've had a lot of time to sit here and think about a lot of things in my life, my kids, their future, my future, you know, X, Y, Z, and what else is going on. But, you know, I look at looking at little man over here, like, you know, he had to come into this world one way or another. And like I said, today's topic is about sex. So I ask you guys, how do y'all feel about when you look at your child, whether it be an adolescent or middle school or high school, whatever the age is, how do y'all feel about it? Because you gotta think about it some way, somehow. Do you think they're gonna be honest with you? Do you think they're gonna be open, telling you everything? Are you open and honest with them? Are you open and honest with your own self? Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with yourself to talk about sex with your child?
I think that'll determine if your kid's gonna be comfortable enough to be open and tell you the truth.
That is so true. That is so true. But you gotta have an open and honest two-way relationship too, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask this: when it comes to, because I know especially your boys, they're not of age to have a deep conversation with you, but you dealt with family members, you got nephews and stuff like that, old enough. Do you feel like they would be open with you at their young age?
Just in general?
Yeah.
I think kids gonna naturally feel inclined to go ahead and lie at first, though.
Right.
So I think whether it be something small about breaking something, tearing something up, or making a mess or spilling some juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, naturally kind of feel a little bit.
Right.
Tell a lie, and then they may kind of tell the truth or whatever. But like I said, it's all based on the narrative that you create with your kids.
Yeah.
Whether you gonna be that a parent that's gonna shout, fuss, and cuss every time, so they naturally they gonna be like, nah, I'm definitely not talking to my daddy about this shit.
Exactly.
Or you gonna be the one that kind of like sit them down and be like, look, bro, I know you made a mistake, X, Y, Z, this, that, and third.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They might be shameful and be, kind of slow to admit that they did something wrong, but they'll still kind of naturally be, open, a little bit more open to you as they get a little older.
Exactly. I feel you on that, and I think the same way. What's wrong, little man? Yeah.
Oh man, come on, man.
So with that narrative, it's like, how open can you be with your child? Do you want them like that to take all of it in, or should you go about as far as easing into them? Because certain kids perceive it certain ways. And then I guess if you go all in, as far as hey, dump all the sexual exposure to them, does it make their mind curious? Which most kids are curious and stuff like that. And that's another thing how you gotta look at it. Be like, are they gonna be curious enough to go out there and do it, or do you put that much fear tactic into them? They be like, nah, I'm not. I'm waiting on that.
They ain't gonna do it anyway. They gonna do it anyway. But you definitely gotta be open with them enough to the point they gonna come to you about it. So you think back about it. You know what I'm saying? You might have a group of 4 or 5 guys.
Right.
And out of those 4 or 5 guys, maybe 1 or 2 of them actually have a present father in their family.
Right.
But depending on, how close the circle is, you might have 1 or 2 that's real close to the one that don't have a father. So now I'm coming to you and talk to you about my sexual escapades and stuff that I got going on, but you ain't had no daddy either. So it's like the loss leading the loss.
Right.
So you have to have that sense of narrative with your kids to the point where they feel like they can come to you about stuff. So because you could possibly be that one kid that could, help somebody else. But it's still gonna be weird, bro. It's still gonna be weird because everybody go through that little phase where they think that they can handle everything on their own.
Exactly. And it's that middle school age. I feel like that's where they feel like they can, but at some point in time they can't. Once your child gets to that middle school age, it's like you have to kind of grasp as much as you can, because if you don't, you're losing. Mm-hmm. Once they hit about that 10, 11, 12 age mark, whatever like that, it's like, all right, they think they're grown, they're not a child anymore, but they start to go into teenage years where they feel like adulthood is coming along. But we all know that ain't nowhere near the truth.
Yeah, it's almost like a rebellion phase.
Yeah. And it's crazy that
My daddy don't know that.
Yeah. And it's crazy that every child go through that. Like, even as if you look back into your own life, you be like, man, I was such a badass. You know, like most people I know anyway, they were saying like, man, if you knew them through middle school, you're like, well, you bad as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they really were bad, because at home they was a totally different person. So you still like, you was not that same person you was, you know. But I guess that's everybody, you know, especially kids. You know, they somebody else that went from their parents and stuff like that nature. I'm gonna switch gears here. All right. When it comes to your boys, all right. Like I say, mine are older than yours. But when it comes to your boys, we're going to think in the future now, how do you think you will go about perceiving them having sex versus your daughter?
I don't know. I've never had that sense narrative or thought that, you know, oh, I'm gonna talk to my boys like this and then talk to my daughter like this. Like, I've always had that understanding where, I don't know if I can say it the way I said it in the, like you said, barbershop talk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to everybody the same way. If I could talk to my daughter around that time, I would talk to her the same way I would talk to my boys.
Right.
Because I literally had a group of guys that was upset with me in the barbershop years ago when we first started talking about this, when I was asking you for advice.
Okay.
I've always had that thought process where I know for a fact somebody gonna screw my baby over.
Right.
It's a part of life. It's gonna happen.
I remember that
somebody gonna break her heart. You remember dudes got me. You can't say that these dudes won't do it. Like, bro, you gotta think. How many times have you screwed over some girl?
Right.
How many times have you talked to a girl just to get what you wanted?
Right.
And then stop talking to her?
Exactly.
And on the flip side, there's some females out here that's gonna do my boys the same way. So I feel like I'm gonna come at them the same conversation the same way.
Exactly.
Because I know what I did, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like it didn't happen. I know the type of females that I got over on, and the ones that did me wrong. See what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And the roles. What's crazy is, go ahead, take it. What's crazy is, like, we always think about, like, all right, the boys can be the boys and stuff like that. They can take care of themselves as long as y'all don't disrespect and hit no women. That is more to it than that, because from us fellas, like, especially the dads and stuff like that, we have to think about how we did women in our younger life. We got to think about how we treated women. How, you know, if you don't want your daughter to be treated like that, you got to do the same thing for your sons. Like, you can't sit here and say, I don't want nobody to disrespect my baby girl, but boy, you better go ahead and get your rocks off. Like, come on, man, that's a code. Those are contradictory conversations that you have with your kids. And
yeah,
like
both
that.
ways, no matter if girls or boys, they all gonna get their heart broken.
Exactly.
Somebody gonna hurt their feelings.
Exactly. And like, you know, and feelings are gonna get hurt and stuff of that nature, and we just have to learn how to adjust, you know, and that comes with time and wisdom. That comes with patience. That comes with learning your child, learning who they are, and having those open conversations. You can't sit here and treat each child the same because they are not the same. You have to, you know, make sure that what you taught this child is catered to that child, and what you teach this child is catered to this child. Like, when I think back to my father, like I say, and I always use my personal experience because that's the best experience I can give. He told me as a young man, he said, well, that thing like crack. I said, what you mean? Like, I ain't never done drugs, so I don't even know what crack feel like. But he grew up in that crack cocaine area. You know what I'm saying? That was his era. So what was crazy, he said that thing like crack. So once you get it, boy, you gonna have to learn how to tame that thing. That was the most truest statement I ever heard. I don't know if, look at here. When it comes to sex, we all know, because first of all, if you got kids, you understand. or if you are, anybody that's grown and sexually active and all this stuff like that, they understand. That thing is that can be very, very addictive. I mean, we know people who go out here and make money off of it. So that lets you know if it's something that you like to do, then hey, we understand how it is. But needless to say, when he told me that, it blew my mind. Cause by the time I had that conversation, I was already sexually active and stuff like that. But I never understood what he meant by that until I got older. And that was, like I say, the most truest statement ever. So, I fast forward to now with me with my boys, like when you look at your kids and you say, "Oh man, that's a handsome young man," and everybody else call him handsome, you think like, okay, how was I when I was a child? All right, I know I was out here doing this, that, and third, whatever like that. So you look at yourself and your boys, or as a young woman, you look at yourself, your daughter, you say, "Oh shit about to get real." Like you start to be like, how is it gonna be once they get of that age? Because you are not wrong as a parent to think of your child in that sense, and that's just me. Because that's your child. You got to do what you got to do to protect them. So you are not wrong to say, to be like, man, when my child get older, I got to think about this, that, and the third. Like, you are not wrong to think like that. Because, like I said, that is your seed, that's your child. You are here to protect them, do what's best for them, do right by them as much as possible. So to think about that, in the future, I don't believe there's nothing wrong with that. Even though they're a child, they be like, "Oh, don't sexualize children." No, I'm not sexualizing my child, but you have to think about the kids when they get older, So when people give your child compliments and stuff like that, especially when they become, that age where their features are starting to show and you can see what their power potential is going to be, you gotta be like, man, like I gotta think about that because how I used to be. And what I was telling the people tree was like, when your kids get like, they should be able to do, yeah. Once your kids get older enough, they start showing their features and they be like, "Oh, he's such a handsome boy," and this got the third, or she's cute, everything like that. She's a pretty good little girl. Like, you gotta start thinking of the future. Yeah, oh Lord, when they start having sex, like how are they gonna be able to have a relationship with this, And I was saying, like, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with looking at thinking about your child in that aspect because that is your child. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not sexualizing per se your child, but you're thinking about their future, how their relationships beyond now. Because as a parent, you have to think about that, And as a father, how much can you protect your daughter, number one, and your son, but at the same time, letting them still be them, So it's just to talk about sex is very. You know what I'm saying? We all understand, we all heard about the T.I. issue and how he dealt with his daughter and stuff like that. I ain't saying you gotta go through those extremes. I think that's a little extreme in my own personal opinion, but that's, that's just me. But you do what you can do to try to protect your loved ones,
I think that's one of them situations where it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Right.
Because we've all seen, heard, and know of, some of the people that have been like hella sheltered.
Yeah.
And once they get out of their house, they beast mode, like Future said.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, damn, dude, how do you balance it? Because like you said, bro, there is no pamphlet or book to parenting. There is no pamphlet or book to protecting your kids from being overly sexualized.
No.
Especially when you have, I mean, I always have people that's gonna protect your people because when I see your kids, I look at them and say, okay, if you out of this barbershop, you out of the room. If I see them out, I'm gonna look at them as if they're mine, so I'm protecting too.
Exactly.
But then you have some people that'll see him like, oh, he's so cute. That's my little boyfriend. Like, how you don't even know what you internalizing with saying it to a little boy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, that's
you know what
true.
I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's like, you teetering a fine line, bro.
Yeah.
Because you can mentally put them in a situation where they think like, they're gonna be growner than what they are.
Right.
And then vice versa. If you shelter them, they gonna either be behind and go hella crazy, or they just gonna be sneaky.
What think about that when let's say your daughter or your son come up to us and say, your son say, I got a girlfriend. Bro, you in first grade. How you know about a girlfriend? Or your daughter be like, yeah, that's my boyfriend, or I want to go out, but she in the 4th to 5th grade. Like, first of all, where you going to?
I went through a situation like that with my little girl. She had a little crush on this little boy named Cam or something like that. I think they had a boyfriend, girlfriend, little relationship thing going on. Yeah. Like I said, kids are going to naturally be inclined to lie.
Right.
So I asked, now granted, her mom had already told me, for Valentine's Day, they exchanged gifts.
Yeah.
So when I asked her about it, I was like, yeah, baby girl, who is Cam? No, I don't know Cam. Like, man, you got a little boyfriend? No. Like, bro, your mama told me you got a boyfriend, so, like, what is it that you like about it? I'm trying to have a conversation with her.
At this point, yeah.
But she's being so defensive but granted, I felt like me and my daughter had that relationship where she could converse with me about it.
Right.
She talked to her about her mama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talked to her about, whatever they had going on, mama knew.
Yeah.
But when it came to me, she felt naturally inclined to keep it to herself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Whereas my boy, Jonas, Daddy, that's my girlfriend.
Talk to her, yeah.
But as a man, I naturally felt inclined, that's what's up. There you go, boy.
Exactly, right.
But at the same time, it's like, damn. So I pressed the issue with my daughter. But with my boy, it was just like, pat on the back.
Exactly.
They want to talk about big dog.
Exactly.
But it's still like,
you got to balance that out because you can't.
I should have had that same conversation with my son the way I was trying to push and pull with my daughter.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier when you was outside. I was like, you can't give the praise with the boys and then turn around and be like overly protective with the daughter. You got to give both.
Yeah, I still had that conversation with my son when we got home. You know what I'm saying? After I thought about it, but
right. But that's what I was saying. Like as his fathers, how can we? How do you actually approach that when it happens? Because everybody's gonna look at it differently. Like you have some guys they're gonna go off the deep end with their daughters. You know what I'm saying? But just like with the boys, they don't give 2 cents about. Which I feel like with mothers, it's vice versa. They're gonna do everything to protect their sons, but the daughter they'll protect them too. And everything like that. But they like that's something they'll. Especially if they in a relationship, let's say you have a 2-parent household or whatever like that, co-parenting, they'll be like, well, they feel like the daddy can protect the baby girl because that's what they feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's funny how society works that way. Praise the guys, protect the girls.
Yeah. I mean, with the conversation I was trying to have with my daughter, I just wanted to know.
Right.
I wasn't trying to, press the issue as if like that overbearing, overprotective father. Like right. I was trying to like create a narrative with her so she felt comfortable with talking to me about it.
Right.
But with her being a little girl, she was naturally inclined to like, nah, I'm good, Pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And see, like, with my daughter, I had to get conversation. Well, I had to get insight from my mother because she don't talk to me like that about stuff like that.
See?
And so.
But she talked to your wife about it, right?
Yeah. And then, and at the same time, what's crazy is it actually came from her friend when they were just having a casual conversation. So the friend was talking out loud. It was like, oh yeah, well such and such like you. My daughter was like, no, be talking. You know how they get bashed.
And the high pitched voice.
Yeah, all that bull, everything. It's like, it's all right. You're like, like I said, we all been down that road. A girl liking a guy and he acting funny. I told her, I said, guys at that age, they gonna act crazy. They gonna be hitting on you, talk about you, but they like you. Guys don't know how to approach a girl at that age. And I said, and girls that they gonna act like how hostility and stuff. I'm like, it's all right. I said, if you like a guy, you like a guy. She said, I don't like nobody in school. I was like, well, that's good then. You shouldn't like nobody. And I do her like my dad did my sister. And he used to tell her, I'm your boyfriend. She can't have no boyfriend until I say so. And I told her the same thing. I'm your boyfriend.
But do you think that's helping y'all situation though? Is that making her feel comfortable enough to tell you about him?
I think what it does is it sets a standard. Because you don't, if you set that standard, we're like, okay, that's my daddy, he gonna protect me, so I need somebody that's gonna be like my daddy. So it kind of gives them that, it set a standard, I feel like. Cause I look at my sister right now, and all the guys that she's told me about that she's dated or whatever like that, like, they haven't been to what my daddy is, which is cool in some sort, but at the same time, I know who my sister is, and she has her standards like everybody else. And neither of those guys have been that, and that's why she's not with them today. I feel like, like she hasn't said it. Like my daddy, like I said, by him telling her that, it set a standard in her life, and she's not gonna settle for nothing less. And I respect that, And so I took that kind of same approach when it came to my baby girls. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it hurt them, but it does give them all right, I'm not gonna settle for this. I'm not gonna settle for that. You're not gonna treat me any kind of way. You're not gonna talk to me any kind of way. I know how a man's supposed to treat a woman, this, that, and third. So I feel like it kind of structure. That was a word that I learned. The last conversation I had with my daddy was structure. And that's, if you think about relationships, whether it be parent to child or spouse to spouse or friend to friend, whatever relationship it is, if you don't have structure and order, is it really any kind of bond there? Think about this. I'll put it in your sense. Your most loyal clients, they know you as far as they got structure. Even if when you have your say you talk with each and every client and stuff like that, y'all have y'all conversation. It's structure. So, and that's a barber-client relationship. Whereas if you look at your kids, parent-child relationship, as a father, you try to put structure and order in their life. So when it comes to your kids and their life growing up, you want them to have structure and order in every facet and every aspect of their life. So why not instill that into them at a young age? That way, when they grow up, they know, I know what to expect. I know what to, to give and receive. So, but yeah, it's that sex conversation, bro. It's as time goes by, because you're not gonna stop time, whether how you pay attention to it or not. But as they age, it gets closer, and it's gonna be at a point where you be like, it's here. You can't take it back. It's just you, like you say, you hope for the best for your kids from a father. I want to have this conversation with my dad.
Might have to do a part two.
I definitely have to do a part two. I got a lot of. Got a good bit of watching the viewers on this one. It's that morning time when people got time, they just not getting up down there at work. Y'all at work watching this. Like I say, it's a different setting, different little scenery. It's a different conversation, you know. But we definitely gonna touch back on a lot of topics, you know. Sex being one of them, mental health being another one, fathers versus dad, which a lot of y'all did like, you know. But I feel like, you know, this is one of those things. You gotta remember, people. He ain't just my barber. This is a guy I've known over 20 years of my life.
It's been 20 years?
Well, it's been 20 years.
Fourth grade, right? Third or fourth grade?
Yeah, the elementary school. Yeah, a long time. So, yeah. She count my gray hairs the other day. When you think about what we done went through as far as, like, even though we weren't kicking it every day and stuff like that, or even every year, every time we ran into each other, it was just like a new beginning. Mm-hmm. And everything that we done went through as far as our childhood, and then to see each other grow up and be the men we are, and the family men that we are, taking care of our kids and siblings and things like that, and take care of our grown man. You blessed, bro. You know? I think I can say the same. I'm blessed, you know, like, and to any dad out there that's, you know, having the same similar situation, going through the same thing, y'all blessed too. Because first of all, you gotta think, you blessed to have kids that you can think like that you can experience something like this. Not everybody has that experience. Mm-hmm. You know? And when time comes, and I gotta tell myself this too, when time comes, don't look at it as a low point, look at it as a high point, because you live to experience that. Not a lot of people live to experience their kids going through adolescence and stuff like that, you know? Whether their life was cut short by, you know, whatever means, or they're not in their kid's life for whatever reason. You know, we got a lot of parents out here that they don't get to experience that. So you got to look back and look at your kids in every situation. You know, you blessed. You blessed to be a parent. You blessed to be a father, a mother, uncle, auntie, whatever it is. You got to look at it as a blessing. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? People die every day. People born every day. And people don't get haircuts looking good as this every day, though. I'll tell you that now. Yeah. I thank y'all for joining us this morning, though. You know, like I say, this is a little different scenery, different setting. I want to do something different this time. I hope to do this again, you know, if he allows me to. I say, you know, and I hope y'all join us next time too, that we do something like this. I love having guests on. I know he's been my guest for the second time, but that's cool. You know, it ain't gonna be the last time you see him either.
Yes, I have to have a group of guys in here so it can be really like a
real barbershop. Oh yeah. I invited, I asked Bud if he wanted to partake, but you know, his schedule and everything like that, it kind of dictated, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's all good. I want to have multiple conversations, like these topics that we talk about and stuff like that. It can go on for days, because we all fathers. We all grew up together. If you think about it, like, we knew each other in that critical time in our lives, that teenage years, you know what I'm saying, where we started really become who we are. Mm-hmm. So, and then for us to have kids and us knowing our kids and stuff, this, that, and third, bro, it's just amazing.
I mean, for some of us, bro, sometimes it should be surreal, though, to actually see certain people you know, knew since a younger age to actually have a family and kids and shit like that. Like, damn, I never seen you have a kid, bro.
Right.
Like, were you really an old daddy out here, taking care of, you know what I'm saying, taking care of shit, holding stuff down. So it's like,
I ran
like a pat on the back.
I don't know if you remember Charlie G from Southside. I ran into Charlie the other day, and like every now and then when he matter of fact, you know who he married to. Like every now and then when he do post or whatever on social media, like it's just good to see them guys that you knew out of high school be the father figure that they are, you know, because how many kids that you know that's going to school, or even not even, I tell that back, how many girls that you knew that went to school with that don't have their baby daddy in their life? So when you see the fellas that's actually out here doing what they need to do for their kids, bro, I'd be like, man, they warms my heart, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta think, you know, all dads don't want to be known for what the good job they do. That's why they remain anonymous, aka the anonymous dad. Yeah. I'm like Denzel and Trent Day. King Kong ain't got shit on me. Oh, so that's how y'all do.
That's how y'all do me, baby.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, I want to tell you, I thank y'all for joining us this morning and everything. And I'm going to post this on YouTube and every other social platform I can and everything. And y'all continue to share the videos likewise. And I'll holler at y'all next time, all right? Peace.
Peace.